Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of I See Bad Movies. I'm your host, Dave Keane, and I'm joined by the fascinating, effervescent Emma Spicer. Hello.
Oh, very fancy today.
Well, I thought as it's the season finale, I'd go big or go home.
It is, yes, and we are going big, aren't we? Because we're watching a great movie today.
Oh, yes, we are indeed. Yes, we are. Shall we
Yes.
just let everyone know very quickly what film we're watching?
Yes, I think we should.
Do the honours.
It's called The Stuff.
Yes.
And we have actually watched it before just for enjoyment.
Yeah, just for enjoyment. And we knew that this was going to be the finale of
Yes.
this season since the very beginning.
100%. Yeah.
Because we love it. It's a bad movie, but it's a great bad movie.
It's a good bad movie. We
damn
watched
good.
it in lockdown, didn't we? So
Yes.
Was it 2020? There was several lockdowns, weren't there?
If it wasn't 2020, it was 2021.
Yeah.
But not 2019.
No, it wasn't 2019.
Wasn't 2019.
It was definitely in lockdown because we watched it over Zoom. Was it Zoom? We watched it online.
This is the one we watched on... Yeah, this is when we were watching them online. Oh my God, yeah. I forgot we did that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so
We
sad.
did, sadly, yeah. But
No, we're not sad.
We couldn't see anyone.
We were embracing technology.
We were just talking about that, weren't we?
Yes, we were. And, you know, everyone, you'll probably know that Emma likes to go down the rabbit hole of what's wrong with society nowadays.
Yes.
You'll be glad to know I purposely got it all out of our system before we started recording.
Well, you say all. I'm sure there's some left.
I got 85% of it out of our system.
I'm sure I can find something to moan about.
All right, so just in case people listening have never seen this stuff before.
Shame on you.
Yeah, 100%. Go watch it, come back and enjoy the rest of the show with us. But do come back.
Yeah. Don't just go off and watch it.
What we'll do is we'll leave you an hour and a half of silence for you to enjoy the stuff, and then the show will resume.
Great idea.
Okay. Oh, I've accidentally cut that bit and lost it. Oh, never mind. Oh, well. All right, so if you've never watched the stuff before, I'll give you the synopsis. Emma, clearly you remember it all.
Obviously.
A delicious, mysterious goo that oozes from the earth is marketed as the newest dessert sensation. But the tasty treat rots more than teeth when zombie-like snackers who only want to consume more of the strange substance at any cost begin infesting the world. I mean, there's a heck of a lot more that goes on in the film than that.
I like that line though. Rots more than teeth.
Yes, yeah, it's very good. I love this movie because it's a good. I can't think of the word. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
It's a good satire.
Oh, okay.
It's a satire about consumption and and greed.
It's got the best advert for the stuff. So you see the advert in the movie, don't you?
Yes.
For the stuff. And
several different adverts.
yeah, and they're just the best. So we will talk about those quite a lot probably.
100%. I'm sure we will. Regardless of what we pull out, I'm sure we're going to talk about them anyway. Right, so Emma, shall I flip the coin and figure out if we're going to focus on the good stuff or the bad stuff?
I hope it's good because there isn't anything bad about this movie.
Yeah, I know, it's going to be
Oh no,
very
sorry,
short.
there is. There's loads. Go to the flip side, there's loads.
I did not
Bit
fumble
dramatic.
that. Oh no.
Is it bad?
Focusing on the bad stuff.
Oh no.
Oh, we're going to have to pick apart one of our favourite films.
What are we possibly going to say that's bad?
Well, let's find out, shall we, and draw the cards.
Although that means that the flip side is going to be an even better episode.
Oh yeah,
It's
the
definitely
flip side.
worth going to listen to that one on the Patreon.
Yeah, over on the Patreon is, if you're not aware, is where we record the opposite of the main show. So, as Emma says, we'll be focusing on all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear the good stuff about the stuff, too much stuff going on. There's so much stuff going on. You'll just have to join us on the Patreon. And if you do join us on the Patreon, you'll have 11 episodes of previous episodes to listen to.
Yeah.
And our kids show.
Yeah.
And the B movies for the kids as well, the Brody's bonus ones, which I think we're still finalising the name on that one. But
yeah, well, we can't call it Brody's bonus because
we've got Catherine there as well now.
Did last one, so
bad movies for kids. I see bad kids movies. No, that doesn't work.
I see bad kids.
I see bad kids. We might have to do that.
Yeah.
All right. What do we do now?
Now we pick categories.
Yes, we do. It's my turn to pick categories. It's been so long.
It is your turn, yes.
All right, okay. So our first category I'm going to go with is, special effects.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Let's go for this one because it looks like you're hiding it. Props.
Okay.
I'm trying to think back what might be covered in that.
I remember this movie as well as you can. I know that it was great, but I can't remember any detail.
Oh, next one, we've got a supporting cast.
Yeah.
Next one is... Yes! I was actually hoping this would come up.
Music.
Music.
Yeah, definitely right for this film.
Fan-bloody-tastic. Although we've got to pick the bad music.
Oh.
Oh, no. Because the music in this is great.
I'm regretting the whole setup of this show now.
It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to hear us talk about the good stuff, though, you're going to have to come along to the Patreon, sign up at the beginning of the month and get to this episode.
Yeah.
All right, last topic. Let's have a look. Oh, scene.
Scene, okay.
Interesting. No actors, no actresses in this one. No line. It seems like...
Yeah, line comes up quite a
we
lot.
always get line. But we've got special effects, props, supporting cast, music and scene. And if, as always, if we luck out on one of the topics, I suppose we can always put in the wild card.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it, isn't it? That's what we do. And now we go and watch the film, don't we?
We do. And we are going to enjoy this one.
I know. Because it's free.
It's free and we know we like it.
Yes. All right. See you in a minute, everyone.
Bye.
Oh, welcome back, Emma.
I mean, that was an experience, wasn't it?
It's
in a good way.
It's the third time I've watched it and it's an experience every time, I'm not going to lie. So we have just watched the stuff. Did you enjoy it as much as the last time you watched it?
I think I enjoyed it more this time because last time my dog was a puppy and he was a complete nuisance and I had to keep pausing and coming back to it.
Yeah.
So this time at least I could just watch it.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, Milo was very good for us. I mean, to a degree.
We shut him out, so yeah.
Yeah. He didn't play up while he was out. That's the main thing. All right, so shall we start the synopsis? Let's run through what happened in the film. And they don't mess around, do they?
No, it's straight in, isn't it? With
straight
selection.
In. There's no waiting around on a lot of the scenes. They're very, very economical with it. So we open up and literally it is, if you didn't know the start of the film, you'd think some of it had been cut. It's like, have I just walked in on the middle of a movie?
Yes.
So it's really weird. It's just like an old guy just finds the stuff in the ground. And it opens with him finding it. No, a modern movie would be like, would have a whole sort of setup.
Yeah, no explanation, it's all over the ground though, isn't it? It's covering...
Well, no, because he's in the snowy background.
Oh, it's snow and then he finds the stuff.
And there's a little bit of stuff on the ground looks like it's come up through the ground. And what do? If you found like a sticky white substance on the ground, are you going to stick your fingers in it and then eat it?
Well, I live in Ashford, so no. You can never be too careful.
No, I don't think you can.
No, obviously not. If you find anything on the ground, your first instinct isn't to taste it.
No, do not put it in your mouth. It's been on the ground
for starters, and then you don't know where that's come from. You don't know.
No.
I mean, maybe smell it. Don't taste it.
I mean, smell it at an absolute push. An absolute push.
Yeah.
But this guy, doesn't care. Straight in his own gob.
Straight in to taste it. It was literally no hesitation.
None at all. And he loves it straight away. He's like, hey, that's really good. And even his pal's like, what are you doing, eating snow? And he's like, here, try this. And then the guy also just takes his word for it and tries it. You know,
it's odd.
Very odd. There you go. That is the origin of the stuff. End of movie. No, just watch the next 17 movies about the stuff to get it all.
Should we explain what the stuff is first of all before we do synopsis?
Oh, good point.
Because we're just calling it the stuff, which is what it's called, but it's what is it called? Is it called marshmallow fluff?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, marshmallow
so
fluff.
you can. I don't know if you can get this everywhere, but in the UK you can get. I'm assuming in America as well. You could probably get this.
I imagine that's where it's come from.
Yeah, it seems like an American kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's basically marshmallows, melted down marshmallows in the jar, isn't it? Like spreadable marshmallow. So you can get that over here, marshmallow fluff, and that's what I think the stuff. It wasn't an ice cream. It was, although we say it wasn't an ice cream. They do say in the movie it's not an ice cream, don't they?
That's right.
But they store it in the supermarket, in the freezer, the fridge, and on the shelf. So we have no idea how you're supposed to store this.
No idea at all.
So whether it is a cold dessert or whether it's just...
And it's not different versions of it.
It's all the same,
It's all the same product.
So the only thing I can think it would be like is the marshmallow fluff. But that's just in a jar, you keep that in the cupboard.
Yes.
That's not a frozen thing or a fridge thing, is it? I think. I don't know. I've never bought it, but...
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
It's just a spreadable. It's like...
Yeah. It's
similar to
it's like
spread or the biscuit
it's like chocolate spread. It's just kept in the cupboard. Yeah. I don't think, and it's not even one of those things that says once opened, refrigerate for 3 weeks, because there's so much sugar in it. It's just going to stay fine.
The stuff is similar to that. That's what it looks like.
I think it's a little bit runnier than it. It's like if you took that marshmallow fluff and mixed it with frozen yogurt or yogurt, like really thick yogurt. That's the sort of consistency of it. Don't get me wrong, it looks really tasty, but would I eat it off the ground?
No.
No, don't think I would.
But yeah, it's strange that they don't... You can store it however you like, basically. Keep it cold if you want, keep it on the shelf if you want. Yeah. There's literally no...
Serve it for a whole meal. As we see later, it's a whole meal. It replaces one family's entire diet.
Yeah.
And the mother even loses 5 pounds.
Yeah, she's lost weight on it.
So it's got to be worth it. Got to be worth it. All right, so we open with that. Then we move into a young boy's bedroom, Jason.
Yeah.
He's tossing and turning in his bed. He gets up, goes downstairs because there's noise from the kitchen.
Oh, from the fridge.
From the fridge. And he opens up the fridge and he sees the stuff, the tub of the stuff on its side moving around.
Yes.
He's clearly shocked out by it, like freaked out by it, but his dad interrupts him and sends him off to bed. But he's like, oh, it was moving. And Dad's like, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think the family believe him today.
No, they definitely don't believe him. And then it cuts from there to, that's when it moves to the ice cream companies on a boat, doesn't it?
Ah, yes.
So all the ice cream companies get together because the stuff is so popular.
Yeah. Well, they've got a great marketing woman on it, haven't they? So.
Yeah, the stuff has a great Nicole marketing away with I think some of the best adverts I've ever seen for a product.
Best, I think, I mean, you've got to give them the adverts for this. They are actually really good. I know we're supposed to be talking about the bad stuff, but they're actually really good. And to me, it feels like it came from an actual design agency or a marketing agency for the did it for the movie, because they're actually really good, and I'd definitely buy it. And it's very 80s. I mean, it was made in the 80s, but it's very 80s advertising, but it's really good.
Even the design of the stuff, design of the packaging
is great.
Because didn't I, for your birthday?
Yeah, I've got it upstairs.
You've got it
on my desk, yes.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really well marketed and packaged and advertised, and I
picked that up on Etsy and I was like, you were going on about that movie so much and the advertising for it. I was like, well, that's your birthday sorted. But obviously the stuff has been marketed so well and it's got a very addictive taste to it.
Yeah.
The ice cream companies get really, really worried about it. And I've got this down as one of the scenes we're going to talk about later. But ultimately they're on a boat. All the different ice cream companies are conspiring amongst themselves to take down the stuff.
Yeah.
With our hero of the movie, David Moe Rutherford, who is ex-FBI and is now into corporate espionage.
And they call him Mo, don't they?
They do indeed. I'm not going to tell you why yet.
He's got a very interesting accent as well.
It's got a very interesting accent. And I even said he's the Nick Cage of his time.
Yes.
He's... what's the actor's name? I've watched this movie 3 times and I've talked about him before. And I can never remember his name. Michael Moriarty. How could you forget a name like Michael Moriarty?
Yes, we did talk about it before because Moriarty isn't Moriarty the guy from Sherlock Holmes in the movie?
Yeah, he is.
The bad guy in that.
I mean, he's looking really well for being a villain from the 1890s or whatever. Yeah, Michael Moriarty. I mean, he's in all sorts of stuff. Yeah, he's got a very distinct acting style, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
It's really... I don't think I've ever seen a man be so lazy doing what he does, but it's actually really badly entertaining, I think.
He kind of bursts into that scene, doesn't he? And sort of walks in and it's like, bam, he's there. And I don't know, I understand what you're saying. He's very unique. Definitely unique in the way he plays his character.
Yeah, unique is definitely, I think, the right word for it. Mo is hired by the ice cream companies to get the recipe for the stuff. And that's it. He then heads off. And we then see an advert, a really creepy advert for the stuff. So there's a woman talking to the camera going, when I was a kid, we would eat ice cream or whatever it was she was saying. But it was very strange.
Yeah.
It was a weird advert.
Not one of the better adverts on there.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But I think that was the advert before. I'm wondering if they were saying that was the advert before
the marketing.
The marketing genius Nicole got on board with it and took over and made it more interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that was one of the earlier ones. But
she's very good at her job.
She's so good at her job.
She is. Listen, if you're not interested in watching this film at all, just watch it for the adverts.
Yeah, I'm sure you could Google the stuff adverts.
Yeah, probably just watch that actually.
And you'll see them. Just specifically, you have. So where do we go to next? Do we see?
We have the boat scene, and then.
Do we go back to David? No, Jason. Sorry.
Jason. Is it Jason? Back to Jason.
Jason's the young lad. So.
Oh, is it the morning when he gets up and he's like, "Don't eat the stuff."
Oh,
saying
that's
to his family,
right.
Don't eat
Yeah,
the
he
stuff.
tells his family.
I saw it move.
That's right.
And they're like, "Oh, don't be silly."
Yeah, don't be silly.
And
it's
then
fine.
His mum gets it out because they keep it in the fridge because you can keep it where you like.
Yep.
And she gets some out of the fridge and she's like, just try some, you might like it. And then his brother just takes a big mouthful of it.
Yes.
And he's like, no, I'm not going to eat that stuff.
Oh, and he smashes it out of her hand and it goes all over the counter, doesn't it? Or the drawers.
Yes. And then she's like, oh, it tastes great, it's good for you. And it doesn't even spot because it's not made a mark on the...
Yeah, do you know what it reminded me of? You remember the Truman Show?
Yes.
And how everything around him just sometimes turned into like an advert for a product.
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
The family were very much like that. They were advertising it constantly.
They were like those like infomercials.
Yeah.
It's so good. It doesn't even spot, and it just cleans up so easy.
Yeah, they were like that throughout the whole movie, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were very much like advocates for the stuff.
I really like that because they were typical family as well that you'd see in an advert.
But very good looking, very clean cut. But they also looks like they could actually be a real family. So a lot of times in movies, you think, oh, those siblings don't look alike or they don't look anything like the parents or they're very, I don't know, they're just mismatched and they don't look like they could be a real family. But this family actually went together really well, I thought, in terms of looks. Yes. They look like they could actually be related.
The two brothers look like they definitely were brothers. You know, absolutely
they might
did.
Have been. I don't know. We didn't look.
Yeah.
Did we? But...
No. Are we going to look it up?
Nah.
It's
late.
It's late.
But they did. Yeah. I mean, if we put more effort into this podcast, we could actually do some research.
Yeah.
Even before we watch the movies, we could actually.
Do you know what I say, Emma?
Find out more about them.
Research, schmesearch.
Exactly. That's the spirit.
Why research anything? When
we can get the listeners to tell us.
Us in the comments.
Yeah,
that's it. If we get anything wrong, you can correct us. I mean, we won't pay attention. Well, we might.
We might.
We might.
There's always a chance that we might.
It'd be nice to hear. Even conflicting arguments.
Yeah.
So Jason leaves the house and he runs to the local supermarket. This is where we see the stuff in all the different places of the supermarket.
Fridge, freezer, shelves. There's a display of it. Yeah. A whole wall of the stuff.
Yeah, and the display that's clearly just been put up.
Yeah.
And Jason has a little altercation with it.
He has a moment like falling down. Have you seen Falling Down with
Yes.
Michael Douglas?
Michael Douglas.
Where he takes the baseball bat and he just... I love that film.
That's fun.
He has a moment like that, doesn't he, where he just cracks and just goes smashing it all
Oh,
up.
and he really does, because, I mean, there are 3 adult males at the end holding him down as he's screaming, "It's going to kill you all, it's going to kill you."
Yeah.
So Jason, who is one of our protagonists, smashes up the store. We leave
He's
him
made a bit
there.
of a leap here, though, hasn't he? Because he's seen it move around in the fridge and then he's gone, "It's going to kill you all."
And now, it's going to kill you.
And don't his family say to him, other stuff's got live bacteria in it, like yoghurt and... Or did you say that to me? Did they say that in the movie, or did you say...
They say it in the movie.
They say it in the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. God,
I mean...
I was going mad then. I thought, did you say that to me? Or
If only I had the piercing blue eyes of the father in the movie. Crikey.
Yeah, so they say there's like bacteria, living bacteria and other things, like there's yeast in bread and there's bacteria in yoghurt and things like that. So he's made a bit of a leap to go from, there's live bacteria in this, to it's going to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Because if I saw a yoghurt spilt in the fridge, I wouldn't be like, "No, kids, don't eat it. It's going to kill us all."
If the yoghurt got up and did a little dance routine, then I might be a bit suspect.
Yeah. Or if it spoke to me or something.
Yeah, it's like, "I'm going to kill you." Well, then I'd be like, whoa. That was my impersonation of Killer Yogurt, by the way.
Which is a movie we could write if we had any sort of...
Killer Yogurt.
Yeah. And can I just say as well that some of the movies we've watched in this series are... So Rubber and Killer Sofa, they might be inanimate objects, but they have had such a brilliant personality.
Yeah.
Loads of character. I don't know how they've done it, but they have. And then we've watched other ones like Killer Tomatoes that just were tomatoes, basically. There was no sort of effort to put a character in there.
Even tomatoes, even with voices, they were like, but still didn't have character.
Personality or character. The Stuff is not one of those movies. The Stuff is very much just stuff. It's not even attempted to give it any sort of character or personality, is it? It's just this gooey
moves
stuff.
around
It moves.
and it moves towards people.
Oh, it deliberately kills people.
But it doesn't seem like a sentient thing doing it.
No.
It is. I mean, when it takes over a human, they are like a drone.
Yeah.
You know, they're working for the stuff and they're controlled by the stuff. But that's the only time you see any kind of character to it.
Yeah, there's no kind of...
Yeah.
I didn't feel a bond there, if I'm honest.
No.
I felt like I knew Rubber and I knew Killer Sofa.
Absolutely.
I felt like,
you could have a little conversation with them. And
possibly.
they might not talk
See
back.
their point of view.
But, you might say hello to Robert and he'd look at you before he blew your head off.
But I can understand how Killer Sofa was feeling, I think. I think I got the emotion.
Yes.
This
you could
is
tell when he
just-
was angry because the little buttons would kind of slant in.
Yeah. But I mean, Rubber didn't even have a face and we still were like, we know what he's thinking.
They could have done more. They could have done more with that, like when the humans were taken over. It could have been like the stuff actually talking rather than the humans being controlled talking. I don't know if it was talking.
that. I think this was just... I don't know if I really expected it to have a personality.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know if I just expected this to be goo.
Yeah,
whereas with
it's
the sofa, it almost had a little face, didn't it? So
So you could get a personality from it, absolutely. So that's a good point. If the stuff had manifested a face and a mouth, would that have helped?
I guess so. But I don't know whether this was the right sort of movie for that. I don't know whether this was the right object to have a personality.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because with something like Killer Sofa, it is an object, it is a sofa. This was kind of goo that oozed out everywhere. It wasn't really like one being, was it? It was, I don't know, it felt like it couldn't be contained in one thing.
It needed, I get what you mean. Like
Sort of wasn't
the stuff needed. It needs to be just
it expands and oozes, doesn't it?
A blob that kind of takes over everything and kind of destroys everything in its path. You could
have given it a personality because it wasn't one thing. It was obviously it was lots of different tubs of it, and then it kind of, when it got out and went crazy, it joined just multiplied and got bigger. And so I don't know whether it could have, but I just thought it was worth mentioning that this isn't the sort of movie where it was yes, it's an inanimate object, but it's not even one inanimate object, is it? It's like several tubs of it.
Yeah, it's just a great big thing and not a...
It's not one singular thing, is it? It's
Yeah.
kind of lots of... I don't know.
Yeah. I know, I mean, I'm saying it's a great big thing, but it's a great big thing, but it's all just the sum of the whole. It's all, you could have a bit of stuff in a tub 50 miles away. Yeah. And you've got a big bit of stuff over here, but you can't see any real connection between the two of them.
Yeah.
And is a tub of the stuff 50 miles away connected to the stuff that's in the ground, or is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. So, welcome to the existential stuff crisis helpline. If you feel like you are a tub of the stuff not connected to the whole, call 1-800. Help me, I'm the stuff.
Anyway, me and my tangents.
Yeah,
Where did we
that was an interesting tangent. I mean,
where did we get to in the synopsis?
A little bit more serious than we're used to.
Yeah, maybe I should keep it a bit lighter. A bit light and fluffy like the stuff.
Oh, well played. Well played. Where do we end up next after David destroys the store?
So he destroys the store and then... Oh yeah, what does happen after?
Mo's in a lab and he's talking to a scientist about the makeup of the ingredients and they can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And they can't...
They've got those little Petri dishes, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got all those little Petri dishes of the stuff and they can't figure out the ingredients and they can't get a list of the ingredients because it's protected by the FDA.
Yes.
The Federal Department, Food Department.
Food Department of America.
Yeah, that could well be it. So the recipe is protected and they point out the recipe is protected like Coca-Cola's recipe, the secret syrup that makes up Coca-Cola. That just sounds wrong. So they decide that Mo decides that he's going to have to break in to the stuff's headquarters and steal the recipe.
Yeah.
Oh, little does he know. There's no recipe, Mo. It's coming straight out of the ground, Mo, for goodness sake. It's at that point where I think the movie makers decided, wait a second, this movie's a bit of a sausage fest. We need to get a woman involved. So
fest.
Yeah, it's all just men at this point in time. Apart from the mum, it's just loads of men. It's a sausage fest. Probably not the best way to describe it, but but they must have decided, wait a second, we need a female now. Literally, we need a female.
Sausage fest makes me think like porno, not just a load of men.
Yeah, no. I guess you've never been. It's just like you're on a night out and it's just you and male friends, and it's like, oh, this is a bit of a sausage fest, lads. No. That
would make me think something else was going on that night now. If someone said, I was out last night, it was a right sausage fest, I'd be like, what were you up to? And do I want to know?
Well, I mean, now I feel strange. But it's just been a load of men in the movie. So they want to introduce a woman and a love interest as well. Because you can't have a movie without a love interest in the 80s. No. Have to. So that's when Mo decides to use his acting skills to invade basically a photo shoot for the stuff. Yes. Where Nicole, the marketing genius, is running this photo shoot with a load of models all carrying the stuff, etc., etc. And now Mo decides to introduce himself as like an oil millionaire who's gonna, buy the stuff. Oh yes, he does. And he tells her all this. We see his boots as well, don't we? Yeah, he's got these really fab cowboy boots. Yeah. And I guess that's part of his oil millionaire character. He's from Texas. He's an oil millionaire. Yes, of course. Yeah. So he's wearing, with cowboy boots. It was a bit of a strange. But they were big. They looked like they were far too big. Yeah, they did look big. We have he basically charms Nicole. Yes. Really easily. Despite the fact that he is the most awkward man alive. Yeah. He says a line, which I'll talk about later, talking to her, that I think is just, I think quite possibly one of the greatest and worst lines of all time in a movie. Because it doesn't make sense, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. And I can't really remember what it is that he wants to do with her. other than just literally get her involved. I can't remember exactly what he wants to do. Like, I know later in the movie they end up visiting a... Oh, I know what it is that he wants to do, sorry. He wants to find out where they tested the stuff.
Oh, okay.
And he finds out from her that it's a small town in Virginia called Steda, I think. Yeah.
Obviously.
No, I know. But it's just a reason for him to move the plot on.
Yeah.
So he visits Steda in Virginia, in the state of Virginia, which confused me the first time I watched it. Because she said, where did they test this out? And she went, a little town called Steda. And he went, state of Virginia. And I was like, did he just like guess the state? Like she was saying the state of, and then he just went, state of Virginia. But no, Steda's the name of the town, or the very small town by the looks of it. I know, I was so confused the first time I watched it. Which, again, that prompts us down to the state of Virginia, down to Steda, where we find out that all the people... No, wait a second, I'm missing a scene.
Where do they find the man in the store? Is that in Virginia?
That's in Virginia, but he goes to the guy from the FDA's house first with a dog.
Oh, he does, yes. So he goes to the guy's house and he finds a room, doesn't he, with a load of the stuff in it.
Yeah, it's got a load of the stuff. And this guy's got a massive dog as well. Great big... Was that a Doberman, I think?
It was a Doberman, yeah.
And he's very, very wary of this dog.
Yes, understandably, because they are huge.
And it turns out that he's been feeding the dog the stuff.
Yes.
And the dog is seriously addicted to it.
Yeah, the dog's called Ben, isn't he?
Yeah, which I think...
And he's...
Is that the name of a dog, Ben?
Not really a dog's name, is it? But
I mean, I don't think I'd ever name a dog Ben.
No.
But then my youngest son, Tommy, he said if he ever gets a cat of his own, he's going to call it Simon.
Yeah, well, Simon's cat.
Yeah, it's a cat name, isn't it? Clearly.
Yeah. But, yeah, so he's... The guy goes somewhere else, doesn't he? And then Mo gets into this room and he tries
gets some
to...
papers about... That's it. He gets in the papers about Steda in the state of Virginia.
Oh, okay.
He gets some papers about the people that tested it and things like that. But they've all left. They've all left Steda. Because when Mo's there, the place is like a ghost town.
Yeah.
There's hardly anyone there. They've all moved to Georgia. Maida in Georgia, something like that, I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't quite know why they had to move it around and around like that. But that's the decision they made. But while we're in Steda, we meet a completely new person. Before
that, though, the guy from the FDA... When Mo goes, he says, come on then, Ben, let's have a treat. And they both eat the stuff. And then the dog goes crazy and... Yeah, because
it cuts away to a really short scene. I think it's an advert it cuts away to.
Yeah.
And then it comes back and that guy's saying, I'll go and buy some more. But the dog's not having it.
He says to him, let's have a treat. And then does he not have any in? And then he's...
Well, I think...
No, he's got it in that room.
Well, I think we just have to assume... that in that very short period of time, they've eaten it all, and now they just run out.
More, and then the dog starts going crazy and attacks him, doesn't it?
Because I think it's just another example of the movie just not hanging around. It's just like, we want to show you this. So there you go. So yeah, the dog's run out of the stuff, so the dog goes crazy and kills the guy from the FDA.
Obs,
as you would do.
He's like under a table, isn't he, going like...
Yeah. No, Ben, no. But the dog does look more like it's just nuzzling up to him rather than actually...
Yeah, the dog doesn't look vicious at all in that scene, apart from at the end where the stuff's coming out of his mouth.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that. I don't think when I last watched it, I don't think I really took much notice of that.
Yeah.
That the stuff was coming out of the dog's mouth. But the way it does is quite... Ugh. But I'm sure you want to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Now... so we've been a little bit around about the houses there, but while we're in, eventually we do get to Steda and we meet a new character.
Yes.
Who did we meet, Emma?
The store owner, but I don't know what his name...
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other guy.
Chocolate Chip Charlie, obviously.
Chocolate Chip Charlie, who is, because it's the 80s, we have to have like a martial arts expert, don't we?
Yeah.
And Chocolate Chip Charlie's hands are registered weapons.
Yep.
And the first time
Don't
we
mess
actually,
with Chocolate Chip Charlie.
and the first time we actually meet him, he's leaping off of a car.
Yeah,
and
he just
punching.
literally leaps off this car and goes for Mo, doesn't he?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And he misses him and punches the ground.
Yeah, he bursts onto the scene. And yeah, literally just... You just don't know where he's come from, and then,
No.
Chocolate Chip Charlie.
And yeah, so Chocolate Chip Charlie is the owner of an ice cream company whose brothers and cousins and everyone else that had shares in the company have all been taken in by the stuff and have ended up booting him out. So the stuff's taken over his production and is going and is obviously using his warehouses and factories to produce and send it off. So obviously Charlie and Mo team up.
Yep, obvious combination.
It is, isn't it? So they team up and they start questioning the store owner, who's I mean, clearly doesn't want them around, because he then goes off to the back room and ejects all the stuff out of himself in a rather fascinating scene. This is the first time we see the stuff really coming out of someone.
Comes out of his mouth, by the
Yeah.
way. We'll just say that, because that sounded like...
Oh,
anyway.
yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that as well. I wasn't even going for a bit there. As well, Charlie says at that point
Charlie
to
says
Mo,
a lot of things.
he does say a lot of things.
He's got some lines, Charlie.
But there was some foreshadowing, because Charlie says to him, I've never seen a man's mouth open that wide.
Oh, yes, he does, doesn't he?
And that, we'll talk about why that's important for Charlie later.
Yeah.
But then they get chased out of town by some other drones of the stuff, and they run away. They end up in a diner, and Mo tells Charlie they've got to split up. Charlie needs to go to the FBI and tell a particular person everything that they know. Unfortunately, though, it turns out that the waitress and everyone else in the diner are stuffies, as they're called.
Okay.
Because that's the name they give them, isn't it? Everyone taken over by the stuff are stuffies. Where else do we go from there? I think we end up... Does Mo go back to the lab with Nicole? I know he's walking through this... Oh no, he's walking through the streets of New York and a stuff van tries to run him over. And then he meets up with Nicole and they go back to the lab. That's when they're like, we're going to have to go to the main factory of the stuff. So they take a private plane down to Georgia.
Yeah.
And they pretend that they are from head office, and they're going to be doing like a photo shoot of the factory, and they get into the factory, and oh my god, how could I miss this bit? They find out about Jason, the young boy, going mad in the store, telling everyone.
Newspaper, isn't it?
That's right. They find out that Jason went mad in the store, telling everyone the stuff's going to eat them all and kill everyone, and then they decide to go and find him to get his side of the story.
Has he already, by this point, has Jason already, family try and persuade him?
So
where's that scene where the family are like...
So they decide to go and get him, and then that's the scene where Jason, that's where we cut to. Jason is trying...
Well, he's still trying to resist, isn't he? But his family are all like hooked on it by now, and his mum's like, "Oh, we've been eating it for a week, and I've lost 5 pounds and whatever."
It's replaced all their food. That's what she served for dinner.
Yeah, that's the dinner. That's what they're all sitting there eating it, and then she serves up dinner later on, and it's just a big bowl of the stuff.
Jason's clearly hungry because he even says,
Dad,
"Is this dinner?"
Yeah, and they're trying to persuade him, and they're going into commercial mode where it's like giving all the benefits of it and why he should eat it. And then the dad gives him a tub and says, go upstairs and eat it and don't come down till you've eaten it.
That always works.
And he goes upstairs and puts it down the toilet, and it kind of bubbles up a little bit and tries to come out, but then it flushes away. And then this bit I didn't understand at all. So if that was me as a child, I'd go, I'll throw it down the toilet, I'll go down with an empty pot and go, I've eaten it. He doesn't. He then gets the cup or like the tub that it's in and fills it with shaving foam.
Yeah. Ugh.
And then takes that downstairs and then starts eating that in front of his family.
But clearly the taste is horrible because he ends up throwing up.
Why did he not just go downstairs with an empty pot and say, I've eaten it?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
No sense at all.
So And then the dad tries it though, doesn't he? And he realises it's shaving foam.
Yeah. Jason at that point takes the chance and runs out of the
Runs
house.
out. Yeah, that's it.
And just so happens at that very moment in time, Mo and Nicole turn up in the car and tell him to get in.
Mo drives past just right, exactly at the right time, and is like, oh, like he's come to get him, hasn't he? Because they've seen him in the paper. But it just so happens that at that exact second where he's running out of the house, Mo turns up in the car and gets him. That's lucky coincidence, wasn't it?
Yeah, lucky coincidence, you know. Then they commit a felony and kidnap a child. And,
oh no, that's what he does. So Mo, when he picks him up, Mo like looks out the car and goes, "I saw it move too." So they're right. You know, they both know that it's evil and it's taken over.
And that's how I remember, because Jason was with them when they went to Georgia. So if I hadn't remembered he was with them, I would have forgotten how Jason arrived with them.
Yeah.
So lucky. So lucky.
So they're going there to get rid of the stuff, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they're going there now so that they can get evidence and expose the stuff.
Yeah.
Now, and they end up in Georgia, they end up in the factory, ends up the pilot being, because they take a flight down to Georgia in a private jet. Jason gets freaked out because the stuff kills the pilot, and he ends up at the factory and hides inside one of those big container lorries, which is the worst place to hide, an empty container lorry in the stuff factory. What do we think that's going to end up filled with? Yeah, not so smart Jason, is it? But then
he's a kid, so give him a break.
Well, I know, but you're come on now, you're not giving him a break over the shaving foam in the tub. I'm not going to give him a break over the empty.
Was idiotic, wasn't it?
And I suppose, okay, fine, it's empty, it's somewhere to hide. It works for a while. It does. Well,
actually, I think he gets in, and then the lid closes behind him. So he's under the impression he can get back out.
Okay, fair enough.
But he can't, because the lid shuts and then he can't get back out.
And why would those things have an opening on the inside? Because it's just liquid in there usually. So
exactly,
yeah. Okay, I take it back. I will cut him a break. Fine. It's only because I'm being nice to you.
Are you?
No, never.
I hadn't noticed. So, but when they get to the factory, though, aren't they all dead? Aren't all the factory workers dead?
No, that's later.
Oh,
that's later. So yeah, they get in. Well, yeah, and nothing really happens in the factory other than they have a tour around it. It's the night later that night when they leave the factory and they're in the motel room.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to care about Jason. They just think, oh, he'll be on the plane. You know, we'll leave the kid on an aeroplane to sleep and we'll have a bed.
Fine. Yeah.
That's fine, you know. But it's lucky that the kid didn't arrive, because the stuff starts pouring out of their pillows and tries to kill them in the motel room. And I think what happens next is one of the greatest scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
But the stuff tries to kill them and
doesn't manage it.
It goes everywhere. There's fires. There's people being pushed up walls
to get rid of it.
Yeah. It's a great scene, and if you want to hear more about it, you're gonna have to come onto the Patreon. I mean, I'll watch it, of course, but
don't watch it. Just come to the Patreon.
Listen to us talk about it as well.
We watch the bad movies so that you don't have to.
Oh, you've not said the catchphrase for a while.
No.
Gonna have to get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
We watch them so you don't have to. And that's when they decide to. Well, they run away, but they decide to go back to the factory, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's when Mo decides, somehow ends up with some plastic explosives.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know how.
It doesn't explain where he gets those from.
So he decides to destroy the stuff at the source, or what he thinks is the source of it, because it turns out there's loads of deposits of the source around the world later that we find out. But he puts all these plastic explosives around the quarry where the stuff is.
Yeah.
But while he's there, he hears Jason in the tank somehow. He just so happens to be walking past it at the same time the stuff is being pumped into it.
Yeah, they're like vacuuming up
and they hear him screaming.
Yeah, they're sort of draining the quarry of it and going into this container, and then he's obviously sees it coming in and is like screaming to get out. And
he steals the container lorry that Jason is in.
Yeah.
And him picks up Nicole on the way. Him and Nicole and drive off with this lorry. They stop, they get Jason out, save him from the stuff.
Yeah.
And they're driving away, and I know I know this isn't in, like, this is a line and things like that, and it's a good line, but they're driving away and they're pulled over by a police officer, and the police officer says to them, do you know your hose is hanging out the back? Because obviously he's driven away where the stuff's being pumped into it.
Yeah.
So the hose that's doing the pumping is still attached. And the officer says, do you know you've got your hose hanging out the back, girl? And Mo turns to him and says, what, are you going to arrest me for indecent exposure?
Yeah, Mo's got quite a few lines like that.
It's fantastic. I couldn't not get it across because I love that line in this film. But yeah, they end up tricking the police officer into eating the stuff that was leaking out the back and knocking him out and getting away. And they're driving, and it's like they don't want to stop at small towns because they think that the stuff is probably taken over the inhabitants of small towns because there's a small population. But then they end up going to this fort that has, what's the General Spears? Is it General Spears?
I don't know.
I can't remember the name of it, but they're like a militia, like a cult militia, just in the backwaters of Georgia. And Mo knows about them because he was under investigation by the FBI.
Yeah.
And so he decides to sort of tell this man who's anti-communist, anti-liberal, everything, and conspiracy theorist as well, you know. They're trying to, I think at one point he was like, you know, trying to control us with fluoride in the water and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Mo tells him about the stuff, and that sets him off. He mobilises his troops. I think they all go back to the factory.
Yeah.
There's a great big fight ensues, but they really don't fight with anyone, do they? Because all the workers have...
Yeah, when they get there, they're all dead, aren't they? Well, yeah, they're all dead. They're all laying on the ground with their mouths open. I think one of them, the stuff comes out of one of their mouths, but the rest of them are just, there's nothing in there. Then they poke them with the gun.
Yeah,
they poke their heads with the guns, and one of them oozes out a load of stuff, and the other ones are like, no, there's no stuff in here. But one of them's got their tongue like really sticking out, bright red
we
tongue.
both looked at that like, whoa.
But they've all got their mouths like gaping open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very. But in this, we'll talk about special effects, won't we? But
aye.
There's a lot of interesting special effects in this movie.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, so it turns out the stuff has vacated the bodies to try and get away from the militia, etc. But the whole factory then kind of blows up, doesn't it? The stuff starts spewing out of everywhere.
Yeah.
So then they decide that's it. They get in their planes and their trucks, and they go to a town where they've got a radio station.
Yeah.
And then that's where they decide that they're going to warn America about the dangers of this stuff.
Yeah.
But before they do, in walks Chocolate Chip Charlie. you know what's coming.
Yeah.
And they decide that Chocolate Chip Charlie is going to make the address because he's a known, like, how many owners of ice cream companies do you know?
How many do I know personally?
Well, I mean, how many could you name?
Of? 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Well, there's Ben, there's Jerry.
It's Ben and Jerry and
Mr. Das.
Yeah, Carte d'Or. Is that an ice cream?
Yeah, that's an ice cream.
Yeah.
But who owns it?
Oh, I don't know the owners. I just
Maybe
know
it's
the names
Chocolate
of
Chip
them.
Charlie.
Maybe he owns
That
them
would
all.
be great. What if he's taken over?
Yeah.
Oh, see? Conspiracy. Yeah, but Chocolate Chip Charlie's not long for the world, is he?
No, bless him. I mean, what an awful way to go.
Oh, unbeknownst to us, obviously when Mo left him, he was taken over by the stuff. And when Charlie said earlier, I've never seen a man's mouth open so wide. Oh boy.
Well, we haven't got deaths, but we have got special effects as a category. So I'm putting it under that because his death is the best.
It is something else.
But you have to listen to the Patreon for that because it's
a good special effect.
It's a good special effect.
And it's a good death.
Well, is it a good special effect? It's not.
Out of the movie, it's one of the best out of the movie.
Yeah. But it's
not the best, I
entertaining.
think. Yes.
It's an entertaining death.
And in the spirit of the movie, it's a good special effects
Yeah.
for the spirit of the movie, yeah. Well, Chocolate Chip Charlie's dead, so the General Spears, he decides to do the address. And then that's basically the end.
Yeah.
We have like a scene where Nicole is talking to the camera and saying,
Yes.
people rose up, yet there were thousands
They
of
took it out of
casualties.
production and all of that, yeah.
People were, looting this stuff and destroying it,
Yeah. Oh, there's a big... They've got like a massive pile of it that they're burning.
Yeah,
aren't they? They're all
like-
throwing the tubs on and they're burning it.
Like-
Because that's the way to get rid of it, apparently, is burn it.
They've got to burn it.
They've worked out to burn it to get rid
If
of it.
you've got it in your house, Mo says if you've got it in your house, cook it,
Yeah.
and that will kill it. If you've got family members that have eaten it, get them to a hospital, blah, blah, blah.
Cook them.
Cook them. They've been marinated.
The only way.
Marinated internally by the stuff.
Well, how are they going to get it out of them in hospital?
Yeah, I know.
Pump their stomachs.
Wean them off of it. But
I don't know. But it kills you quite quickly.
Yeah.
There's no consistency with the deaths in this, I don't think.
And when you say no consistency, I don't know. Does this stuff eat you out from the inside and you're just a husk?
Well, that's what it would seem from the special effects.
Yeah, because some people get like hit and they cave in,
Yeah.
but then at other times,
Other people, it just spews out of their mouth.
yeah,
So it's like, what? Yeah, I guess what happens is it gets inside their body and then they're kind of just a hollow shell of a person. So once the stuff's come out of them, they collapse in because...
But how much stuff do you need to eat for that to happen to you?
I don't know. Or can it just get into you like the factory workers? Did that just get into their bodies or did they eat it?
I imagine they might have been paid in the stuff and like they had to eat it.
Yeah, that was their...
Because if you're working
lunch.
somewhere and they're like, hey, have this for free. Oh, okay.
Well, if you work anywhere that produces food and they give you free lunch,
You'll take it.
taking it. So...
It
I mean,
depends
you'd be a
on...
bit sick of it, the stuff, but the family
Yeah.
were eating it for breakfast, lunch and dinner, so...
Oh, yeah. I think if you're into the stuff, you're not getting sick of it.
Yeah.
If
it's like
anything,
heroin.
you want it too much.
It's like an addiction. Yeah.
Yeah, smack. It's pretty Moorish.
Yeah. So you could do advertising for drug dealers.
Yeah, so everybody's taken heed of their word. We then see Mo confront one of the distributors of the stuff who was really blasé about it.
Yeah.
Knowing full well it was hurting people earlier in the movie.
Oh, yes.
And he's gotten in bed with the ice cream companies.
Yeah.
And like, he's in with the ice cream companies now and they're going to distribute. He's like, oh, the stuff is done. We can't sell the stuff anymore. But we can sell the taste,
yeah.
which is only 12% stuff. Just enough to get people
Hooked,
crazy for
then,
it and
yeah.
hooked, but
But
not
it's
enough
going to kill them.
to kill them. Which I think is
Yeah.
it's a very good sort of parable for the age.
Punishment for... So he wants to punish the main guy at the stuff, doesn't he? And his approach to it is like a parent's approach when you find out your kids have been smoking.
Yeah.
You give them a pack of cigarettes and you tell them to smoke them all until they're sick. Or that's at least the 90s or the 80s way of doing it.
Yeah.
So they just take loads of the stuff, don't they?
Yeah.
And make them eat him. And who's the other guy that's with him?
Jason comes in. Jason walks in with
No,
this.
but the other guy that's with the...
He's from the ice cream company. He was one of the guys from very early on.
Oh, okay.
From the ice cream
'Cause
company.
There's two of them. They make them eat the stuff until they can't eat anymore.
Yeah. And when Jason walks in as well, the guy says, this is no place for a kid, Mo. And Mo says to him, he hasn't been a kid since the stuff took his mum, his dad and his brother. It's like, that's not how it works.
No.
He's still clearly like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
He shouldn't see you force-feeding at gunpoint.
No, he's a child that's already sinned too much.
Yeah.
Don't show him more.
He's seen way too much stuff. Oh. oh, this episode just
I'm
writes
shaking
itself.
my head.
The look of disgust on Emma's face was palpable. I'm sure you could feel it, but not hear it.
Anyway.
And the very, very last thing that we see is some shady people pulling some boxes out the back of a car on a street corner, and now it looks like the stuff is being dealt like a drug.
Yes, but my point about this is, it's it's something they know is going to kill them pretty quickly. I mean, you made the point that, heroin kills you. And I was like, but slowly. So people take it for a few years and then they end up dying of, I don't know, some people die of an overdose or some people die of, I guess, just takes its toll on your body.
Yeah.
But it's a very long, drawn out thing, isn't it? It's like people can take drugs for years and years and years and years. But the stuff is like, if you eat it, you're pretty much guaranteed to die, aren't you?
Or pretty much.
You have to eat quite a lot
actually.
of it. I guess it's not instant because the family were eating it.
Yeah,
for a while, weren't they?
But we didn't see how the time frame for them to eat it. They started out just having it as a snack. Like the brother ate his breakfast and then he had some of the stuff.
Yes.
But then
turned into
it turned into it replacing all their food, because you even see at one point just when Jason comes downstairs because he's hungry.
Yeah.
You see the bin full of all the normal food, and then just a bin sack full of empty cartons of the stuff.
Yeah.
So, but there's no idea of how long it took for them to become just stuffies.
No.
So yeah.
Stuffies.
But it certainly wasn't a long time. You know, you're not talking weeks, I don't think.
No.
You're definitely not talking weeks. So yeah. So that is pretty much the movie.
Yeah.
And it's definitely worth a watch. 100% worth a watch.
Watch it for the special effects when people die.
Yep.
And for the adverts.
Yeah.
Commercials, whatever.
Oh, 100%.
All the way through.
So sad that we have like bad stuff to talk about for music.
I know, because we've got great... Well, music I don't think we can do on this episode because there's no bad music in this movie.
None at all.
The adverts have music and it's all brilliant. It's not... We cannot
fault it. Cannot. Absolutely cannot.
We're not going to talk about music.
No.
I think we'll just add some little other notes in of things that we noticed.
Little wild card things that will come in. 100%.
Yeah, but we'll definitely discuss music on the good episode.
The music card I'm going to put away for the episode. What would you like to talk about first, Emma?
Should we do scene?
Scene? What have you got for the worst scene that you've seen?
Worst scene that I've seen was the ice cream guys on the boat.
Oh, yes.
It was just just everything about it. So they're on this boat. They've clearly done the sound separately, I think. So they filmed on a boat, but obviously there's lots of noise on a boat. And, so they looks like, because they kind of look dubbed, didn't they? But I think what they've done is they've mouthed it or they've spoken it and they've put on sound over the top.
Yeah.
So that looked awful. You've got Mo making his entrance and literally just comes in and he's... Where does he come from? Because they're out to sea, aren't they?
He comes in on another little speedboat.
Oh, I was going to say, how does he get there later than everyone else? Because they're on the boat. Okay, so he makes his entrance and then he's like... Literally, he bursts onto the screen and he's just like... I don't know, it's just his acting style was just so bizarre.
It really does take you aback.
And he like goes around the room and he's like, sweaty palms, sweaty palms, sweaty palms. Everyone.
Because he knows. And that's the thing that I really like about him, though, is there's absolutely no way that was written in a script. No way someone wrote, Mo Rutherford walks in and just shakes people's hands, and as he does it, he goes, oh, there's a sweaty palm, there's a sweaty palm.
Yeah.
I think he's ad-libbed so much of this.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
But yeah.
It's just the whole scene is just really odd. It's really out of place. Why are they on a boat?
Yeah. Why aren't they in a boardroom or something?
Yeah, it's just it's almost like, how do you show people have got money? Don't put them on a boat. And
something a bit skullduggery. Put them on a yacht, a boat out at sea where they can't be seen. Yeah. And it's the way, for me, it's the way Mo comes in and kind of takes charge of them all. And he's like, I know so much about this because I actually came into your hotel room yesterday and bugged you.
He's a bit smug, isn't he?
Very smug. And there's also another ex-FBI guy there. So Mo's ex-FBI, I think I said. And there's another ex-FBI. And he's like, Mo says to him, hey, aren't you with the Bureau? And the guy's instantly like, yeah, but I didn't get fired like you. So it's really just a whole setup of the character of Mo. And even his exit is bizarre. Because he says to this FBI guy, he says, oh, Next time you see this person, say hi for me. And then he just punches him.
Yeah.
And you hear one of the ice cream guys go, he broke his jaw. Yeah, I had that as the worst scene as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which
I think it was
normally,
worst.
if you have like a bad scene shared between the two of us so early in the movie, it's a bad sign for the rest of the movie. But I didn't have anything else down as a bad
that was
scene.
the only one I had as a bad scene. I've got a couple of good ones.
Yeah.
But that was the only one I had down for bad.
Yeah, that is the same here. Everything else there were a few kind of almost bad, but there were reasons behind it. Like when I first watched the scene between Mo and the guy from the FDA where he's so jumpy about the dog, I was like, what is going on here? But then it turned out he was jumpy because he was scared of the dog because the dog was needing its fix of the stuff. Yeah. So then I understood why. But yeah, that was the worst scene for me. All right, so where next? What do you want to talk about? Props, supporting cast, or special effects?
Should we do supporting cast?
Yeah, okie dokie. Let's do it.
So who did you have for bad?
Well, I had down 2 people.
Okay.
I've got Jason's dad, and I'm now a bit iffy on that.
Okay.
So when I first saw him come down and have a go at Jason, I just thought, oh my God, this guy is so wooden.
Yeah.
But then when you were talking about later, when we were watching, you were like, how they're like an advert.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it makes sense. Because he's so bland.
Yeah.
He's absolutely nothing because he is just an advert in the movie for the stuff.
Yeah.
So it made sense. And that kind of made me think, actually, no, I don't think he is the bad supporting actor.
Yeah.
So I'm actually thinking the store owner instead.
Yeah.
I had the store owner down as the worst supporting actor because, I mean, Mo and Charlie are trying to talk to him and he's just like, why don't you just leave us alone? And there's nothing to it. He kind of just...
Yeah.
He's trying... At one point, he's trying to be kind of mysterious, but also, we just want to be left alone. We just want to be left alone. And they even say, who's we? And I know that's the line he has to say, but it was just so... Oh, my God. Even anyone would be suspicious of this man.
Yeah.
But he turns up later in the movie as well.
He does, doesn't he?
He jumps out of a truck.
It's a lovely death.
Yeah, it is a great death. He jumps out of a truck at Nicole, and even then he's just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like a dummy just being thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a real human moving.
Yeah. You'd never know.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't. So, I mean, there was nothing about the performance that was like, oh my God, he did what? He just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was not a great performance.
No.
What about you?
He got his death.
He got
the karma, didn't he, with his death?
You could say he got his just desserts.
Oh no. Cut that bit out.
No, I've been waiting to say that line.
God.
Don't hate me. This is the last
All right,
episode,
I'm going
isn't
to
it?
throw a little curveball in there, and I'm going to say Ben the dog.
Oh!
Because...
Okay. The look of surprise on my face.
Because...
Okay.
As you said, so when he's meant to be being really vicious and mauling the guy...
Yeah.
And like attacking the guy, he's like the most playful little friendly dog ever. So he's this big Doberman. I think he's a Doberman. He's this big Doberman dog, and they are massive, aren't they?
Yeah,
Dobermans, right? And they can look a bit menacing. And I think I've read before they haven't always got the greatest of temperament either. They're quite territorial and quite.
Well, they make great guard dogs because of it. Yeah,
and they tend to be quite. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not territorial. They sort of have a favourite in the family.
Oh, okay.
They're loyal, very loyal to one person. So, but this dog was just like clearly not upset at all, happy, like almost wanting to lick his face.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be attacking the guy. And it's just like, there's no aggression there at all. I haven't even attempted to make him look aggressive. But then I don't know if you can really say a dog's a bad actor because
But
it's a dog.
It opens up a whole new world of possibilities for us, Emma.
You know, and I mean, if you've got an inanimate object going around on a killing spree, we can have a bad actor dog, can't we?
I agree.
There's no
I
rules.
agree. No, there aren't. And if you want to make that rule up,
I'm just done it.
that's
I've
the
done
rule that exists now.
I've done it now. Who's going to stop me?
No one. I'm not gonna. In case you bend the dog on me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, because I did have Mo down as bad, but he was actually the main actor, so he's not really supporting cast, so I can't really do that one.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I'm going with the dog, and there I've said it, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay. So we've got the store owner, and we've got Ben, the dog. And normally you'd be like, oh, he's such a good boy, but he was a bad boy.
Well, he was meant to be a bad boy.
He was meant to be a bad boy.
You know,
but he was so bad at being a bad boy.
Yeah.
And two bads don't make a good.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's late, Emma. It's really late.
It is really late as we're doing this.
It's 5 to midnight now.
And anyway, go and watch the movie. Bye.
Yeah. All right. So we've done...
What have we got next?
What have we done? We've done supporting cast.
Yeah.
We've talked about scene. Did we?
Yes.
Yes. So we now got props or special effects.
Did you do props?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. So, I think the worst prop in the movie
Yeah.
were these magic plastic explosives that Mo suddenly has.
Yes.
And they are just grey plasticine
They are.
that Mo...
I said to you, didn't I, what are they? Because I couldn't
Yeah.
tell. It was just like a lump of, plastic.
And I only remembered what they were when you asked me, because I remember him putting explosives the last time we watched it. And that was the only reason I remembered it. Because otherwise they are just grey blobs with an antenna.
Yeah.
And they're not even like grey blocks, like C4 blocks or something like
No,
that.
they haven't made them look
No.
like anything.
No, they are just like if... Imagine your kids had gotten a lump of Play-Doh and just mashed it and gotten your old mobile phone with the antenna stuck out of it. That's what it looks like. But I don't want... I mean, first of all, he straps it to his ankles.
Yeah.
Which made me chuckle because it's like, is he expecting he could like set them off and fly? I don't know. What is going on? Why is he attaching it to his ankles?
Yeah, no idea.
Is it so he can hide them under his trousers? What?
Who's he hiding from though?
I know, because
Stuff?
he's got himself...
Stuff can see.
Exactly. He's got himself in the uniform of the workers down at the quarry anyway.
Yeah.
So why does he need to hide it underneath his trousers? Just put it in your pockets or put it in a pocket. So yeah, but this plasticine bomb as well. He's only got a handful of them, and supposedly that's supposed to be enough to make the quarry kind of collapse on the stuff deposit coming out the ground. It was a dreadful prop.
Yeah.
And they should feel bad for it.
I think they do.
I think they do. Larry Cohn, whether he alive or dead, should be turning in his grave right now.
What, even if he's alive?
Even if he's alive.
Okay.
I want to get in a grave and think about his choices.
Right, calm down. It's only a bad prop.
Oh, okay, I'm over it now. I'm over it. Go on, Emma. You talk for a moment. I'll just be silent.
This counts as a prop, but I had some of the... Well, I guess they are props. So the dog, when it's got the stuff coming out of his mouth. It looks like it's foaming at the mouth, but I think it's meant to be the stuff coming out of his mouth.
Oh yeah.
That's not a real dog. That is.
No, it's not.
But I mean, they haven't even attempted to make it look like a real dog. It's like some horrible art project that's gone wrong by like primary school kids, like a paper mache.
Papier mache dog with
Yeah, it's awful.
That someone stood on when it fell over.
That was really bad. And then the man from the store, when he does get killed, so we haven't got deaths unfortunately, but so he comes flying out of a lorry, doesn't he, and then falls to the ground to try and grab
Nicole.
Nicole. Yeah. And as he's lying on the ground, a car comes past and runs over his legs, or a lorry.
It's Mo in the lorry.
Oh, it's Mo in the lorry
to save Nicole.
So he runs over his legs, and then his body just kind of explodes.
I think the word you used was implode at the time, which is the best way to describe it.
And then you just kind of see So, yeah, like we said earlier, it's like the stuff gets into your body, hollows it out, and then you're just an empty shell of a person. So then, like, heads just kind of deflate a bit like footballs. Or this guy's body, when you saw it laying on the ground, it was just kind of, it was like, that's the only way I can describe it. It's like, when you let a football down.
Yes.
But then someone's cut into it as well. So it was kind of like...
Very specific,
flat,
but
yeah,
it's
but
the
was
best
like
description
that,
of it, yeah.
So that was, I guess that's a prop, isn't it? Because...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it might be special effects, but it is, a created piece for the movie, which I think is the definition of a prop.
And it just looked awful. It didn't look like a body. And the dog was the worst one. That didn't look anything like a dog. I don't even know how to describe that one. So that's what I had for props.
Okie dokie. Right then, so our last topic before we have any other sort of extra mentionables is special effects. What have you got for worst special effects in the movie? Okay,
so the worst ones. So the guy in the store, when he's lying in the back room at one point, and that's the first time we see the stuff coming out. His mouth's like open really wide, and that's the first time we see some stuff coming out, and that just looks terrible. And then I think it's later in the same scene when Mo punches a random man in the face. Was it Mo that punches him?
Yes,
he punches just a random man from the town in the face, and again his face sort of just deflates like a deflated ball. He punches it and it just all dents in like it's hollow.
I have this down as my worst special effect as well, but it doesn't just dent in. He actually just punches that half of the man's face off.
Oh, it just comes clean off.
It just comes clean off. But, like when we watched Carousel, and Duke uppercuts the guy and takes the top of his head off, and it looked so real and really well done. This is literally
that had some good special effects.
Yeah, more punching a dummy and just part of it coming off, and it does not look real at all.
No.
At all.
It looked awful.
Yeah, it really did.
And I'll tell you what else looked awful is when Jason gets in the container.
Oh, yeah.
And at one point you see him crawl across the container, and it's clearly an image in the background with him like green screened onto the... there's not a tiny bit of it that looks like he's actually there. But there is a part where he is inside the container. Yeah. But then later on when the stuff's coming through... He's clearly not in there.
Yeah, it's when they're pumping the stuff in that they make it fit the fake look. And I wonder if it's because putting something into a container like that, you couldn't have a human in there at the same time because of the oxygen or something and the pressure. But that was a pretty awful special effect.
Yeah.
You even said, that looks really Neil Breen.
I think didn't you say that?
No, you said.
Or did I say it?
You said it.
A few of the bits did look...
Yeah.
There was a couple of bits where something was on, like the stuff was on fire because they worked out they could set it alight. The stuff was on fire. Mm-hmm. There's a scene at the end where they were walking away from the stuff being on fire. Yeah. Clearly weren't there.
Yep.
There was a couple of bits that were very Neil Breen.
Yeah,
We've talked about Neil Breen before, haven't we, on this podcast?
We have, and we're going to talk about him a lot more. When Neil Breen eventually releases his 6th movie, I think we're going to have a whole season of Neil Breen.
Yeah, I think we've got to.
But I'm not sure. Can maybe, I don't know if we should do a full season of Neil Breen. I think maybe we should do special episodes, one episode, 2nd episode, and leave a bit of a gap.
Maybe doing have bonus episodes or something.
Yeah, but like main episodes, but like outside of the categories at the time.
Yeah.
And just release them as extra. But it just means hanging around with me to record more.
Oh, no, that's
sorry. I'm really sorry. Maybe we'll do these ones remote, give you a break.
Yeah.
I'll make my own tea.
It's about time.
No, I probably won't. Hey, I made you a cup of tea here once before.
Once.
Aye, maybe twice.
Maybe twice, yeah.
Maybe. I think on New Year's Eve, when we got in really late, I made you a cup of tea because I was being generous.
See, that's how little it happens. You can actually pick out.
Also drunk. All right, so have you got any other notable mentions for this movie?
Only to say that there were a couple of good lines, like
good lines.
Well, not good.
Okay. Oh, good lines for bad lines.
Good for bad, yeah.
Yeah.
There were a couple of lines that we didn't have lines as a category.
The
dad says to him when he does the shaving foam trick.
Yeah.
The dad says, everyone has to eat shaving foam once in a while.
That was Mo that said that.
Oh, was it Mo that said that?
He said that just as they were getting into the private plane.
Yeah, why? Yeah,
He's
didn't
like,
make any sense.
kid, everyone's got to eat shaving foam once in a while.
Yeah,
What?
it's a bit
That
odd.
makes sense.
And also the tagline of the stuff is "Enough is never enough,"
Yeah.
which doesn't make any sense.
No, it
Because
doesn't.
enough, by definition, is enough.
Which I told you at the time, and for our dear listeners' sake, it reminded me of my favourite joke of all time.
Oh,
That I
yes.
got from an old TV programme, Grange Hill. I'm sure you remember Grange Hill.
Nobody in America will know Grange Hill, though, will they?
No, so Grange Hill is like the Grassy Junior High. It's
Yeah.
like a drama set in a high school, okay?
Yeah.
And there's a teacher, Mr. Ronson. Is it Mr. Ronson? It was the really
Sounds
grumpy
familiar,
one.
yeah.
He sees some kids laughing in Ziggy specifically
Yeah.
is laughing in the corridor. Ziggy's a Liverpudlian character.
Is he the one that did Just Say? No, that was Zamo.
No, that's Zamo.
Zamo. Just
I
Say
walked
no.
past Zamo.
Did
I
you?
walked past the guy that played Zamo in Victoria Station in London, and I nearly went up and said, "Oh, hey mate, how you doing?" Because I recognised him from my
school.
youth. I thought
thought you knew him from
I
school.
thought I knew him from school, but it was Zamo from Grange Hill. I was like, I've never been starstruck before.
Yeah.
But I guess I can only imagine that was like being starstruck is like forgetting that you don't actually know this person.
Yeah.
But I didn't go up and say anything because I just thought, oh, I can't say anything.
Yeah.
But he must, you know, I mean, how many people walk past him and recognise him nowadays, you know?
Probably not many, I would have
I
thought.
was
'cause-
so amazed to see him. Anyway, Ziggy is
Yeah.
laughing in the corridor at the school, and Mr. Ronson,
Oh, I know Ziggy. Yeah, I was thinking,
Yeah.
who's Ziggy? But I can picture him, yeah.
he said, he's laughing in the corridor. Mr. Ronson's, what are you laughing at, boy? And Mr. Ronson, I think, is the French teacher, or teaches French as well.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, I'm just thinking of my favourite joke in French, my favourite joke, sir. And he goes, well, out for the boy, what is it? And he goes, why does the Frenchman only have one egg for breakfast? And he goes, because enough is enough. And I loved that joke ever since I heard
Yeah.
it.
I don't think anyone else does.
Oh, don't be so mean. I love a good language joke. And that shows how multicultural I am. Because I get a joke in French. Well, maybe not in French, but yeah. I've got one line of Mo's as well.
Yeah.
So we call him Mo, but his real name is actually David Rutherford.
Yeah.
But everyone calls him Mo.
Oh, yeah. I know.
And Nicole asks him, why do people call you Mo? And he says, well, my friends call me Mo because whenever they give me something, I always want Mo.
And that is actually a good impression of his accent. That's what he sounds like.
Oh my God, you must be tired. You're being
I
like
am
complimentary.
delirious now.
And with that, the podcast is over.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a very good representation of his
Oh, that's
his
very
accent.
kind. That's very kind. Thank you very much. Would you care to do an impersonation?
No,
No?
not this tired, no.
Not this tired. Sounds like an excuse.
It
All
is.
right,
I'm
so
sticking with it.
what are we going to score this movie out of 5?
Can I just say one more thing?
Oh, sorry. Of course you can.
So
It
when
was you
they're,
going on about how tired you were.
when they're trying to work out the recipe,
Oh, yeah.
it just makes me think, and this again would only apply to UK listeners, I think.
Uh-huh.
So The Apprentice that we have over here with Alan Sugar, they've
Okay.
got a version, I think, in America.
Yeah, which was with Donald Trump, wasn't it?
But this, I don't know, I've never watched the American one, so I'm not sure how similar it is. But when they're trying to work out the recipe and they've got the petri dishes and stuff, it just makes me think of every single time on The Apprentice when they've got to make a perfume or a recipe for something, like any kind of food or any kind of perfume or anything. And every single time they do this task, someone is creating the recipe and they say to them, they go, oh yeah, spot on, yeah, I've got that exactly right, it smells perfect or it tastes delicious, and they haven't written any of it down. So they can't recreate it. So then Karen will go, so do you know what the recipe is? And they're like, oh, I didn't write it down. So they've literally just like been adding a bit of this and adding a bit of that, and they've got it perfect. And then it's like they haven't made any notes. So they've got to try and recreate it again. And that's just what it made me think of, all the petri dishes of like this one and that one. I was just like, yeah, that's just like an episode of The Apprentice. Where it's
Honestly,
just like
I look at some of the people that go on The Apprentice, and I think
these are professional people.
a
That have got
chimpanzee
great...
could do better.
Yeah. Did you see the one where they were making pizzas?
No,
and
I don't watch it. I just see clips of it on TikTok.
There was one. This was years ago. They had to make pizzas. So say they had to make 20 pizzas.
Yeah.
Or like different flavour pizzas. So they might have vegetarian one. They had a chicken pizza. They're like, right, 20 chicken pizzas. So the guy ordering the food ordered 20 chickens. So that's one chicken per pizza, like a whole chicken per pizza. And you can imagine when they get in the boardroom, they're like, what numpty ordered 20 chicken? Like, it's just basic common sense. And I know they're under pressure and they don't have a lot of time for this task and they don't know what they're doing. Like, I've never catered but common sense, come on.
I know, you know.
Like, if you're making 20 pizzas, you can roughly go, okay, how much chicken roughly would you have on a pizza? Let's work it out roughly.
I mean, even if you said, right, one breast per pizza.
Yeah.
Or one thigh per pizza.
Exactly. You've got two
and one
legs,
drumstick or something.
Yeah. Like, you can roughly work that out, but a chicken per pizza.
I think we've just started our own chicken pizza company, Emma.
Yeah. You get a whole roast chicken on
a pizza.
on a pizza. Perfect. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Oh yeah.
You could have roast chicken pizza sandwiches.
Oh yeah.
The pizza's the bread.
Amazing. Oh.
Anyway, that just tickled me because it made me think of that as we were watching it.
I love when you see them get interviewed at the end, close to the end.
Yeah.
And there's that guy who picks their business plan apart. And their business plans are useless sometimes.
One guy just literally had some logos.
Yeah.
It was like about 4 pages long and there was no financial stuff in there whatsoever, and the guy said to him, "Is this a joke?"
That's the kid that spends the whole lesson figuring out in word art the title of his essay.
Yeah. It's literally just like how they got that far in the process. But then obviously it's a TV show, so they put people in there that are characters.
They've got to be useless.
People that are going to be funny.
With some people who clearly must be good.
I think now that it's been running so many years, I think it's just become, let's get these characters in because they'll rub each other up the wrong way. They're really up themselves. Yeah. They'll be entertaining.
One of them will end up with.
Originally, there were some good people in there.
But one of them will end up with a business to run.
Yeah,
and a salary.
So they used to actually be his apprentice, and now they've had to go in with their own businesses, don't they?
Yeah.
But that's where Katie Hopkins came from, didn't she? She got to fame by The Apprentice.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're stuck with her now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they did have in the original first few series. I think they did have some decent candidates, but now it's just like a bit of a joke.
It's just a free for
all. And
all
the business plans are like things that have been done to death. There's nothing original in there. So
do you know what we need? We need a man like Mo Rutherford to go in.
We do.
And just commit corporate espionage on The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Do you see how I'm bringing it back to the stuff?
I'm trying to bring it back to the stuff.
I'm trying to bring it back.
Okay, let's run it back in.
We had a rabbit hole moment now.
But look, people like these rabbit holes, don't they?
They do. They do. Yeah, they do.
Please,
they do.
Please
We had a comment on one of our last from the lovely Jacqueline saying she loves our tangents.
Okay.
So
that one was for you, Jacqueline. At least we're not talking about my dad's 80s hair anymore, are we?
Well, technically, we just mentioned it.
Okay, edit that bit out.
Hashtag bring back Emma's dad's 80s hair.
Oh yeah, we didn't hashtag that, did we? We need to put hashtag.
We do need to pick up on it, but we do also need to get your dad to grow his hair.
Oh, and also I was going to get a picture, wasn't I, of his 80s hair?
Oh yeah, you will.
I need to do that.
You need to do it. I will remind you and chase you all week.
Yeah, okay.
I'll probably forget. Because it's a Wednesday as well. Right. Yeah. Emma, before you fall asleep and I have to drive home, how many stars are we going to give this movie? I'm
going to give it 4 out of 5, which I think is the most I've scored, isn't it? Highest I've scored?
Yes, I think it is, because I think the last highest was Killer Sofa.
What did I give
No,
that?
Carousel with 3.5.
Oh, did I give that 3.5?
I think you gave it a 3.5.
I'm going to give it 4.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why, David.
No, I'm all ears. Please proceed.
Because, I mean, the commercials alone.
Yes.
The commercials, the music. We haven't talked about music, but we will on the Patreon episode. The special effects were awful. Were so awful they were good.
Yeah.
And the props. So the special effects combined with the props for the deaths.
Yeah.
were amazing. Just, I don't know, just most things about this film I just think were spot on. I think I wouldn't score it 5 out of 5 because that'd be perfection. I don't think it's perfection.
Like Carousel was for me for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, did you score it 5?
I gave it 5 out of 5.
Oh.
And now I stop and I think back, I think I was just caught up in the conversation we were having.
Why.
Oh?
Because we got the bonus sex scene, didn't we? And I think
that's exactly why. That gave me... Yeah,
I
was in shock. Oh, thank you for going that route.
The first time we watched it, that wasn't in there.
No, it wasn't.
It was cut. And then when we watched it again, we were both like, what the hell is this?
What's going on here?
Because they showed a lot.
They showed a lot. I had to go home and watch it again. I mean... See, look,
I was trying to help you out there and then you just dropped yourself in it.
Don't make good decisions.
So I think it's not quite perfection. I don't think I've seen a movie yet which I've been like, yeah, that's a perfect bad movie.
Oh,
but this one is pretty good. This one is there's a lot of elements in there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm going to give it 4. What about you?
I am going to give it, like yourself, I don't think it's perfection.
No.
It's not a 5 out of 5. I've watched it 3 times now. I don't think I could bring myself to watch it a 4th time.
Okay.
I think I would cherry pick just watching the adverts.
Yeah.
Because I think I've seen everything that I need to see about the stuff now. And I think that's going to make me put it around a 3.5.
Okay.
Because I've watched it 3 times, I've taken half a mark off for the number of times I've watched it. It is a fun movie. It's ridiculous. There are so many stupid lines.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the video cover for the stuff in Betty's video store in Partick, Glasgow when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And being like, oh, that looks really scary. I mean, it's not. It's a comedy. I mean, Chocolate Chip Charlie's played by a guy who was on SNL for years and years with people like Chevy Chase and all that sort. So, it's clearly a comedy. It's a satire. It's not a scary movie like I thought it was when I was a kid. But, yeah, it's just a fun laugh. But, yeah, I think I'd struggle to watch it again, having watched it so many times since.
Yeah.
So if we ever do a best of series,
then we
can't have the stuff in there, even though it clearly is one of the best ofs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far,
exactly.
So far.
So many more bad movies to watch.
So many more. And you're on the journey with us, listeners. So you've given it 4, I've given it 3.5. I think that's the first time your score's actually been higher than mine.
Yeah, I think so. I'm normally quite harsh.
Yeah, you are. And maybe that's it. Maybe the repetitions of the movies. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a Neil Breen movie. And I'll still happily watch them again. Anyway.
Yeah, they're going to be scoring high for you, aren't they, the Neil Breen ones?
I see them being perfect scores for all. Maybe not all. Because some of the later ones, I think, actually, he gets a little bit too full of himself.
Do you think Neil Breen would ever listen to our podcast? I'd love that.
Oh, I'd love that. I mean, I would appeal to his ego and just say how amazing he is.
On something.
I think I'd just explode. And not in a good way.
You'd implode like...
I'd implode like the store owner, yeah.
You just collapsed it on yourself.
I'd just be like a little walnut in the corner. Is that a large rock? No, it's David, he imploded. Right. So, everyone, please come and join us over on the Patreon.
Do join us on the Patreon because we can talk about the good stuff and there's a lot of good stuff in the stuff.
There is a lot of good stuff in the stuff. I know for a fact we're going to have a lot of fun recording it.
Yeah.
We're going to record on a different evening so we can give it our full welly.
Yeah,
because it's too late now.
We're getting late.
It's gone midnight.
And we're not young.
Well, no. I mean, Emma's much younger than me.
Much
younger.
Yeah.
And even you,
Like
I can see you're struggling. I can see you're struggling. So if you can imagine a young thing like Emma struggling, an old man like me, I think I'm just going to go and sleep in a lay-by. Just go home in the morning. Right, join us on the Patreon.
Yes.
And listen to us on...
The Flip Side.
Yes! You may be tired, but you are a machine when it comes to saying...
What it was called. The Flip Side.
Yes! Come and join us on there.
Oh, what did I watch the other day? And they said something... Oh, I meant to say to you, there was a movie that I watched the other day and they go, Flip Side, motherfucker. You know what I said to you before? I felt like I needed to say motherfucker after it.
Yeah.
There is a movie where someone says that I watched the other day and I was like, that's where I've got it from.
That's where you got it from.
Was it Bridesmaids? I did watch Bridesmaids the other day.
Okay.
Let me find it and I'll let you know what movie it is. But there's definitely somewhere I've got it from.
Because
saying
if
it like that,
I will try and sample it. I will try and get it into an episode.
And I'll send you the clip.
Yes.
But I watched it. This is my terrible memory. This is why I have to write notes all the time, because I thought, I must tell David that that's where I've got the flip side from. And then I forgot.
So if you want more of this rambling, ladies and gentlemen, we'll maybe see you on the flip side or in the next episode when we'll be moving on to a completely new topic that's yet to be revealed.
Yes.
But we've got a good idea of what it is. Oh, don't we just?
We've got
and
a
you're
few
in for a
ideas actually for different categories.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.